Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. One of Houston's busiest fire stations. My name is Adrian Trevino, and I'm the Assistant Chief of the EMS Division, the Houston Fire Department. We want to just reiterate a couple of things. July, Houston, Texas, it's nice and warm, sometimes just a bit hot. With the humidity that we have, the heat index sometimes can climb above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a lot of things that we need to take precautions with. First, our personal care that we need to be conscientious about. There is no doubt, and everybody in the city of Houston knows that we are going to sweat a little bit. We are going to wear light, lube clothing as far as trying to keep cool. We can do that for ourselves. We do need to take extra precautions as far as trying to stay hydrated. Trying to stay hydrated with water and sometimes even sports drinks. Some of the things that we need to keep in mind is the difference between a sport drink and an energy drink. A sports drink sometimes will have some electrolytes that are vital to us, that add, our maybe endurance during the summer months. Some of the energy drinks that are on the market these days not only are high in sugar, also high in caffeine, which caffeine has some diuretic properties that will also speed up the dehydration process. So we need to be conscientious and take those precautions that if you're going to be out in this Houston warm weather, that we need to be hydrating well. Try to stay with the water and sometimes a sports drink. One of our associate medical directors with the Houston Fire Department, Dr. Souders, Dr. Chris Souders, will also make a couple of comments on that. I'd like to just take a couple of things into consideration. The very young Houstonians and the very old Houstonians. We have to be cognizant of them and help them also during some of these months. The very young and very old do not compensate as well as middle-aged adults. So let's take special care of our children and our elderly here in the city. But just the same thing, since this is not a new thing, things that we've been not preaching, just commenting on for a long time. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated to the point to where you sip on water if you're going to be out. Sip on it, because by the time you become thirsty, you're probably at your first stages of heat exhaustion here in the city of Houston. So stay hydrated, stay in your water, and if you can, get to a cooling area, a public library, the malls, some other places who do have air conditioning during the day. If you're going to be out sweating, try to get indoors, try to get behind some air conditioning here in the city, and try to take care. Also try to stay away from alcoholic beverages. They also do have diuretic properties that also will speed up the dehydration process. So for the Houston Fire Department, stay well, stay hydrated, and be conscientious of your surroundings, your environment. So with that, I'll pass it on to our Assistant Medical Director, Dr. Chris Souders. He's also one of our directors with the Houston Fire Department. Thank you.
Chris Souders, Associate Medical Director of Houston Fire Department. I'm just going to talk to you about some of the signs of heat-related emergencies and point out that every year in Houston we do have people die of heat-related emergencies, whether it's elderly people left alone in a home without air conditioning, or whether it's children that have been left alone or perhaps forgotten even in a car. These are all preventable emergencies and preventable deaths, and we need to be aware of the signs of heat emergencies. So the first sign of a heat emergency is frequently known as heat cramps. This is generally what happens when you're undergoing strenuous activity outdoors. It starts with cramping of your arms, your stomach, or your legs. This should be your first sign that the heat is getting to you, and you need to take precautions in terms of hydration and getting indoors where the temperature is cooler. When you get heat cramps, you should obviously stop the exertional activity that you're doing that caused those heat cramps and take some water or some sports drinks and relax. And if those don't go away within an hour, you need to seek medical attention. The most common first sign of heat emergency, though, is what we call heat exhaustion. And this can be a myriad of symptoms, but this is where you get very sweaty, you may get pale, you may get nauseous, vomit, dizzy. And this is the first sign of this serious problem known as heat stroke. Now with heat exhaustion, you need to take immediate actions to cool down and get some hydration. Otherwise, it will progress to heat stroke. And what differentiates heat stroke from heat exhaustion is your body loses its ability to cool itself via sweating. And so with heat stroke, your body stops sweating, your temperature, your core temperature rises exponentially, and then it starts to affect your nervous system. You may become confused, dizzy, or in fact fall unconscious. And when your body loses its ability to cool itself, your temperature will rise rapidly, and that's often fatal if not treated. And so you need to be aware of these symptoms in yourself, but also in others. If you get confused from heat stroke, you may not be aware of it. And so you need to pay attention to your loved ones, your parents, your children, and when they get any signs of confusion with heat, a heat temperature problem, you need to immediately call 911. And so those are the three basic signs of heat stroke, and of heat temperature emergencies, with heat stroke being the worst one, and we need to all be aware of those and treat them as Chief Trevino pointed out earlier. That's all I have, and I think we'll turn it over to Captain Beta. Okay.